Good morning, team. Good morning, team. Well, we had CPI, came in hot, dropped down. Those in Discord will be very aware of the levels we dropped into. That H1 level is very, very tight, very, very trappy right now. Okay, so we're dropping between this breakout. This was your breakout retest. It's holding this level. It might want to reprice all the way up here towards the 400s unless it gets stuck right here at VWAP. That reaction off the low in the last 5-10 minutes was key. All right, so now you have a lot of short-term, lower time frame traders short against this level here in towards 400. So you have to see if it wants to pop that. If it does, it might start to honestly reclaim all of this CPI move and go back for the data highs. This is not easy action today. We talked about it in Discord, that it doesn't matter what the macro thesis is, you have to respect the chart in front of you. And this is a big, big move off the bottom in the last few minutes, all right? Up 70 points now into VWAP off that H1 level, this blue box right here. Here's your breakout, and this is the retest. So do we back test this into 400s and fail there, or do we just start to trap the shorts and go for that CPI Newsweek high all the way up into 472. So those are the things we are currently looking at. Let me know in chat if you can hear me, if everything's making sense. Good morning, Jeff. Let's get this chat moving. All right, so here's your CPI print. Didn't even manage to come into previous day close, open, or the 5-day here. Currently just trading right at VWAP. Maybe it will run the stops. ES has already run its stops up there. Morning, Tomac. Morning, Jeff. Morning, John. It's a very, very trappy action down here. Morning, Minix. Morning, Michael. Just letting everyone catch up. Oh. So NQ leaving a lot of stops up here, lots of stops up here. This would worry me right now. This is where all the sell stops are. ES has already taken them out before diving back inside. NQ has not. So I expect these stops to get run up in this level. And we're holding down here on a higher time frame. All right, we are holding the breakout retest area for now. So structure might turn to bullish soon. All right, it might go bullish intraday. It might come and want to run all the way up here. Very, very tricky to trade this when they do these moves. All right, you've got different time frame traders trapped against each other. We start reclaiming VWAP, we start basing above here. It's going to get tricky because you're going to back test 400 up to 420. Those are areas of supply and imbalances. You get through that, you run up to 480. So it's really hard, a really hard session due to the CPI move down. VIX as well rejected its supply above. All right, so it found support on the demand into 2060 that we've been talking about and is now rejecting 2140 after closing the gap. So just going to be patient here. Got a new hourly candle right now. Let's see what this does. Does the hourly want to come and back test all the way up to 400? Very, very tricky. Morning, Stephen. Morning, Marek. If we just start flushing here without stop running that high, it's going to be really, really hard to get involved to the downside. Really hard to get involved. Really want to see it pop through 90 first before even considering a rollover, and the same for upside really. We've already washed the lows. Bias right now short term is to pop that 90 and then we see, all right, and drive up into 400 and then see what's what. Morning, Glenn. So just watching for those joining, what's going to happen in this H1 area? Are we going to come and rebalance this, or are we just going to go and run these highs? If they've trapped enough shorts down here, doesn't matter what the macro is, if they've trapped enough shorts down here, this is just a breakout retest. If they start reclaiming these areas here and put in like a shoulder here, sorry, head here, left shoulder, right shoulder, they're going to go and attack those highs. If they get enough shorts trapped. I don't have much bias right now. We are flat, okay? If we start to base and curl, then we can think about repricing all the way up to this data wick, right up here. That's where most of the stops are. You've got a stop run here of 90s, and then that can open the door up here if we start basing above, right? So if we start doing this move here and we break out above, and then we can start going for this. If this is a pop to fail, then I expect lower prices. Good morning, Mindful Matters. But VIX really just giving it up now, down 40 points off its high. ES trying to tap through VWAP. It's already cleared out its level on ES. Never got down to that 800 level for that back test of the 5-day and previous day open. Looking pretty bullish here. So NQ has now swept those stops. We have to see the reaction here. Do they sell it back down into 400, or are they able to start basing and putting a squeeze on? Good morning, Chris. No edge for me right here in this market right now. We've just done the sweep of both sides. It might just trade in a range for a while now. Yet again, New York morning session so far pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Morning persistence, morning Bart. Wrong chart, you want this one? Thank you. So far looking a bit like a sweep, isn't it? But this can come back and still hold structure. As long as it holds these areas here, it has more upside potential. VIX now trading underneath 21. Feels like it wants more upside here. Just not proving itself right now. Just checking news releases here, seeing what else is coming. So you got some Fed talk right now, and again at 10:30, and then again at 11, and then we're clear. Feels like it wants more upside here, but it's very, very difficult until it starts to prove that it can trap enough shorts and then base above. We said in this morning in the Discord, 400 to 380 is the key level. That's where it keeps tapping into. Of course, you've got that lower time frame algo, so we're building liquidity between the higher time frame algo, lower time frame algo. If its objective was just to sweep these stops, all right, it's already taking one lot out here, maybe it comes back down, uses liquidity, but I would rather join that if it can prove itself. Right now, there's not much edge in this, right? No big displacement other than this candle here. This is just grinding. Now it's starting to get going, maybe. So ES has pretty much filled its imbalance. NQ got a little while to go into 420 if it can do it. VIX really letting go now, 20.87, coming back into its low of day and demand. Remember 20.60 or 64, 65 on the VIX, it gets under there, it opens the door for that gap fill. Market will go very bullish if it does that. VIX going for that squeeze then. Sorry, ES going for that squeeze. Can the NQ join here? Key levels through 400 now. Looks like it wants to go back for highs, doesn't it? Looks like it wants to go for that data wick high now. So you have to see if there's a way of joining this. The problem you've got to be very, very aware of is where suppliers, where they might come in. We're tapping right into that golden zone right now. And on the H1, all right, this is the back test of that block. So what we're talking about, it will want to trade between these two blocks before it makes a decision. So back testing that H1 block here. Do we fail here? Is it just doing the back test to move for lower prices, or is it going to soak and hold for a squeeze up and a return all the way back to that CPI wick high? These are the questions we're currently asking. You'd really want to see it base over 380, base over VWAP. If it starts letting go of like these areas here, other than a trap, you need to be very careful. Currently, sort of this is your channel, right? This is what it's trying to build out. And most of that through 380 to 400 is just a squeeze. Question is, do buyers really step in now? Let's see if it can form a flag here. Be very cautious about it building a head and shoulders here on a lower time frame. If it starts to break under here, I wouldn't like it. But for now, I'd be looking for these areas to hold for upside. If they let go, then my bias will flip very quickly to a move back down to downside, because right now we've just tapped into that H1 supply. Be very, very cautious here. It can get very whippy very quickly. Really hard to risk when you're needing to give up 50 points. Very, very hard to risk right now. Goosebell talking about inflation came in around expectations. I think that's an incorrect statement. I think we all read the CPI report this morning, so spin doctors are out. So basically right now we're trading into the bottom of this range, right? This range here, overnight range. I need to see if sellers come in here. I'm not in a rush to do anything right now. But so far momentum's starting to build for upside pressure. ES has put in a pretty decent wick up there on a 5 minute after repricing. Oh, Mikhev, yes, I think you do. I think you do need internet to do it. Double check if there's a way of downloading it offline on Teachable. Okay, so I used software called Teachable, but I think you need the internet to do it, but it's worth double checking that. I'll have a look as well later on. So tapping into supply, remember we're in a higher time frame supply level right now, right? We're back testing that level. So I don't really want to get long up here. If I'm going to get long, I want to see it come back to 80, put in some bullish pattern there. If it starts to fail that, then I think about short rotation back down. Very, very tricky right now. You're not in a pro trend kind of move. Even though this is bullish up here, you have to respect the structure first. Right now, we are in an H1 block. We're in an H1 supply block. VIX now trading at 20.79. Do they just let the VIX go? can see both sides playing out here, to be quite honest. I can see a wash of back to lower day, and I can see it running all the way up to CPI highs. I've seen both these kind of moves before. For now, we're respecting that supply on the H1. VIX right into that demand block on VIX. Right into that demand block. So it can trade another 15 points down, and if it gets through that on the VIX, it's going to trade into the gap. If it trades into the gap, the market will rip. If we bounce off this box, maybe the market will pull back into 83s, and then we'll have to see what's what. ES coming right back to VWAP right now. Very tight. Yes, letting go of VWAP, starting to backtest towards that 80 now that we talked about. Looking to see if we let go now. So VIX with a bounce right off that 280. Starting to break trend here, but like I said, I want to be very cautious. This area here was the stops. Do they turn this into support? For me, this is a see money, take money type environment until it proves otherwise, right? There's definitely has some clear areas it can attack both sides right now, and that makes it very, very tricky. So ES did that dance just below VWAP. If you look at the structure on ES, it's done the move we were talking about looking for in NQ. So does NQ soak here? I would say all the way down 80, maybe even 75. If it soaks off that level and holds, then if I was a short trader who hadn't stopped out yet, I'd want to get out break even. If they flush that really hard, that's a whole different ball game, right? So we are very, very tricky. So notice the reaction on your H1, right? We reacted off this demand zone and we reacted off the supply zone, and now we're trading in between. This is where it gets hard, trading in between. The easier move will be this or will be this. These are the easy, obvious moves. Until then, we're effectively going to build liquidity. Yeah, so always make sure you're zoomed out, checking those higher time frame charts. They will do you a massive favor. So you can see that we rejected up here, right? That is a clear level on the H1. As a reminder, that's a clear level we rejected in this H1, right? So we repriced This imbalance tagged in failed because here was a drop, base, drop, re-attack. In theory, if it's going to wash now, it would come and take this out. If it does that, we might build liquidity here for a few sessions, and then we will have this going into next week. If it holds this area, make sure I'm on the right chart, and we do this, then it's just a continuation of the trend. Does that make sense for everyone? Does that make sense for everyone? Really, really important you start to see that on the higher time frames. Super important. That's why I was saying to you, I don't have any real bias right now. This is an obvious key level it wants to attack, right? So you got previous day close, CPI wick, previous day high. There will be a ton of stops up here. If it can start doing this, it will run them out. But the print was bad, right? The CPI print was bad. If we start failing under here, maybe we attack this. If we do this, if we flip, then the demand block on the H1, right? If we then do that move, we would start to trade underneath here. And if we start rejecting this, we can look for some of these wicks and lower prices. So those are the things I'm thinking about. Maybe it happens today, maybe it needs a few sessions to do it. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. Trying to build out thesis so that you understand what I'm looking at and why. And when I'm quiet and not taking a trade, it's because I'm trying not to pull the trigger. It's very, very tempting to take trades like this, but the RR is very tight. You're really at a 1-to-1 here, right? Because the only probable move was into this 80 area that we talked about, and now we're getting a reaction off it. So if they hold this lower time frame now I'm talking about, if they hold this and do this move, this is still supply, then maybe we trap enough short-term time frame shorts to get up into these areas. Right, so it's a battle of time frames right now. Can they trap intraday shorts who have been in this morning to use them as fuel to get up to this swing point where swing shorts are? Swing shorts are up here, intraday shorts are here. That's the battle. If intraday shorts win, swing shorts might join in for a move down. That's how I think of it anyway. So when I say swing shorts, I'm just talking about higher time frame shorts. But yet again, it seems like all the nice action really happened overnight. If you look at the Asia London, it was really nice. Just a simple breakdown, right? Asia session, grind up, failed with a flat top against old supply. There's your short trigger. What a beautiful trend, right? Cover into here, you're done. Then you get move up as they take a risk off for CPI and a dump. All this is gambling. All of this is very easy, nice trading. Big part of me wants to move back to Europe right now because they are having very, very easy sessions. If we think about New York sessions, even though the range has been good, this is a bit ugly, isn't it? This is very similar to what we've had all week in the AM sessions. I would lean slightly bullish right now if they can rebase this and reclaim. So all the time it's holding that sort of 80 mark, 380, slightly bullish. What time is Asian session? Pretty much from the start of the new session together, but I mark it out from 8 o'clock till 2 AM. Yeah, so from 8 till 2. But really they can start trading instantly as soon as you get that new session open at 6 o'clock. But I mark it out from 8 till 2. If you're looking for an indicator for it, I don't know if you're trading on Ninja or TradingView, but there's lots of indicators for Asian London sessions or kill zones. You can use any of those indicators. They all do the same thing. They just box out those sessions for you. So if you're on stream right now, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe. So far it looks good, doesn't it? What we were just talking about, if they base here where those stops were, if they get above this, they're going to want to attack this level up here now. That's the big question. Can they do it? We know what they want to do. They've shown their hand now that they're trying to hold 80. They're trying to do a base above. You can simply look at an M15 or an M5. You can see the move very clearly on that. Just look at the blocks where it's trying to hold. Right, so if we go to this M5, oh, this level right here, okay? So that's the liquidity. All right, does that make sense for everyone? Really simple. If they can flag this, reprice this, get above this, they're going to attack here. It's really that simple. You just have to wait and let it play out. The harder thing right now is getting the right sizing and risk reward, because some of these drops are a little bit violent. So even if you're joining this now, you're going to have to risk 40 odd points, which is a decent amount. Yes, JP. Yeah, there's FOMC speakers. The last one is at 10:30. You might have just missed that. I was talking about it on stream. We had a speaker at 10 and then a speaker at 10:30. I think that's it. It might be one at 11, but I think that's it. Let me have a look. We do have one at 11 as well. Yeah, John Williams at 11. Foster Scott, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing good. Everyone who sent me those kind messages in Discord last night, I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. We are working through it. I had treatment this week and just waiting for biopsy back, and then we'll see what next, whether it's chemo or radiotherapy. So this is, for those who didn't know, this is round 2 of this happening, but hopefully nothing too sinister left. But I really appreciate the kind messages. Okay, so this is looking pretty bullish, all right? For me, I would say this is looking pretty bullish. I want to see the VIX start to drop down, which it's just starting to try and do. Can we trigger a squeeze up here? Yeah, thanks, Nate. It's not me, it's actually my father, but thank you very much. Can they trigger this squeeze? They're looking to run the highs here. So ES basing right on VWAP. Like I said, the hard thing here is the risk. Notice now we've got that initial balance print, all right? So if we're going to go back into an initial balance day, we're just going to rotate between the two. You know the plays, IB high to VWAP, VWAP to IB low, back and forth. All right, so you have initial balance traders now coming in. The easier trade will be above the IB. All right, above the IB, we would call it a trend day. It's an odd trend day because we've got so much action to the left, unfortunately. But in theory, above the IB should open the gate to a rotation up here. But we have to respect that initial balance now. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate it. If they roll this over, you need to be careful, all right? If they start rolling these levels over here, there are stops in here and stops in here. If they start to roll over, then maybe we get a deeper pullback, maybe a cup and handle type move. All the time it's holding sort of 380s really. I wouldn't really want to risk down here, but I'd want to see it hold these levels for a move back up. Got a lot of stops now printed at that IB high. ES now under VWAP. retesting where it broke out from on the lower time frame. VIX printing up from its demand box and its IB low. So maybe I can just bring this over just to show you quickly what I'm looking at on the VIX. All right, so the VIX, these are the levels. Hopefully that's showing. Right, here's your supply, here's demand. This is not just intraday demand, we've had this from here. And this is the gap I've been talking about. It's a big old gap here. So if the market snaps this gap and comes down here in the VIX, this will trigger a big squeeze up in the market. So these levels are important right now. So the only market we have a big gap on is the VIX right now. SPY, all the ETFs, cash gaps, no big cash gaps, but there is on the VIX. Good morning, Matt. Good morning. So just waiting here to see if it plays its hand. It tried to play its hand holding the 380s. If it starts to roll over, I will consider a short, but I'd much rather a short underneath those H1 levels. Again, we're building liquidity between these levels on the H1, right? Between these levels. So is this, what you're asking yourself is, do we pivot up? Or is this going to be creation, high, lower, low and down? Right, it's early to call it right now. That's the thing. If this is actually the top and we're going to do a change of character under here, right, this is not confirmed until we get a break of structure, right? Which is why this session, particularly this morning, is a little bit tricky. Once we get confirmation, it gets much easier. So if we get confirmation of lower highs and lower lows on the H1 and we start to let go of key areas, we know we can look for shorts. And until then, it's very hard to do that, because effectively what you're doing, if you're looking for shorts today, right now, is you're kind of trying to pick tops, and that can get a bit tricky. Also rejected that golden zone fib, right? We drew it out a little while ago. Higher day CPI into the low New York, right into that golden zone fib. So we're trading back away from that now. So fib traders have also come in. So there was confluence there, I guess, for a short. Couldn't get a back above. Remember what we were looking for, this move. Looked like it was setting up, couldn't do it, so be it. Needs to build out more liquidity. If too many buyers came in here and they start to trap this, they're going to get washed out under this low. The low it needs to protect for me is this low. This is an internal low. This is probably the low it wants to protect. Easy action? I think not, right? Not easy action. So starting to let go. Mag 7 starting to go red now. Only ones left green now are Nvidia and Amazon. So again, this is the low it will need to protect. 50s, 56. The reason I'm saying that, this is the low that created the high, right? So the pattern is actually this, right? So it can still do this, but if it snaps underneath this, this is your strong low, internal strong low. So far, that H1 rejection of that supply block, that drop base drop, has been heavy. So there you go, protected that low so far that we just talked about. So it can be a sweep of the internal. Important you understand the difference between those internal lows and the strong lows. So Barkin talking about natural gas there, I think just popped up in the Discord. Let's have a look. Barkin saying inflation is headed in the right direction. The spin doctors will be out today, all right? The spin doctors will definitely be out today. That CPI print was a little hot, and if you really dig into it, it was hot in areas which have been notably sticky. I've talked about it on stream for a while. Housing is an issue, and it was up again. Eggs were up 18%. So I don't know what Kamala's going to do about that when she tries to accuse everyone of price gouging. They're not going to move 18% down. And energy wasn't up too much. And you've got to think that's going to be priced in. If the war continues, energy is going to start to tick back up. So they're not leaving themselves any room now after doing a 50 basis points cut. The last thing they're going to do is do a hike again. All right, that will cause absolute catastrophe. So they're going to have to probably stick and stay put. Or what they like to do, they're going to cook the books. They're going to probably cook the books for the next print. Does not make Kamala's job easy for the Democrats right now. That's given a lot. If I was Trump and a Republican, I'd be using a lot of this as ammo, even though supposedly the Fed has nothing to do with politics, but I find that hard to believe. So it'd be really interesting how this plays out in this crunch time lead up to the election now. GB going to be hard to justify a rate cut with inflation rising. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, and that's why they've given themselves no room. If they'd done a quarter basis point cut, right, they could have argued that they'd given themselves a little room. But because they've been a bit more aggressive with that 50 basis points cut, and we were pricing in another 50 already, they've given themselves no room. So you're right. If they give themselves no room, if they stay put, right, the market won't like it. If they need to rise, if they need to put a hike on, there's no way they can do it. It will cause catastrophe, and they will know that by now. So this is very, very typical of what happens, especially when you've spent years cooking the books, like the job numbers, what they class as energy and what they don't class as energy on inflation, what they class as, you know, crime and what they don't class as crime. They're constantly redefining it to try and make the books look good, and it doesn't do themselves any favors long term. Yeah, I totally agree. Makes it look like a political move. I agree with that. They didn't have a choice, though. I don't think. Like the market had had enough by that point. Yeah, illegal immigrant. I know what you're saying, but when you promise 2%, you've got to get it to 2%. Very unrealistic saying that they're going to do it now by next year. They're going to push that back to 2026. I don't think even that's achievable. So the VIX heading back up for that 21 test, right? We're just building liquidity here. Stuck at VWAP, potentially can roll over here and attack this strong low, potentially. But it is very, very tricky, this. It's basically, you're just in a range. That's all you're in right now. Yeah. I agree with everything everyone's saying in chat right now. Totally agree. If you can just be neutral, take politics out of it and just look at the numbers, it's not good. And it hasn't been good for a little while. Still protecting that strong low for now. Just reading your message, Foster Scott. I mean, the truth is, whoever inherits this economy has got a hard job cut out. It's a bit like England, you know. I don't think anyone's wanted the job in England for a little while because it's a bit of a mess, and you've got such big divisions between politics and what people want and the realities of what they get. It just causes tension in among society, and those tensions are always enhanced when people can't pay their bills, right? You always get increasing crime rates, increasing frustrations, and that's not just America and England. That's just where we're at globally right now. It's been really hard for people for a long time, right? As soon as post-pandemic hit, it's been very, very hard for people to keep jobs, to earn money, to put any money away in savings, to pay for their rent, to pay for their bills, and eventually over time that will wear you down. And if you elect someone that you think is going to be the savior and they don't deliver, then you get more frustrated. And that's kind of the cycle of politics always. Here in Australia too, yeah. I don't know much about what the economy in Australia right now, so I'm not going to claim I do, but I'm sure you're right. I'm sure it's probably the same everywhere in the world right now. Okay, so they protected that low, didn't they? Didn't roll over, protected the low, rotation back to IB high. I'm going to get rid of this pink line. This pink line is just an anchored view up. It is holding up. You can see it's an anchored view up off the CPI high, all right? So this is off the CPI print, and we're holding that. So maybe now they do the move after protecting that low. So they didn't take out this low. This was the key low at 56. Looks like they've retrapped again. Can they now move up? That's a move through New York high of day for now, since the 9:30 open. ES is lagging behind. ES nowhere near that move. It's a good 7 points behind. That move probably driven by Google, which just went red to green on the day. So lots of chop here, not much lining up, right? You have not got the ES lining up with the NQ right now. We are just stop hunting and building liquidity. Another tricky day on stream. Would have been nice if we got this, nice trend, or this, nice trend, or this, nice trend, and this, nice trend, but it seems to be on stream, the market will not give us that nice trend move. Did Apex do a new sale, anyone? Does anyone know? I haven't even looked. I think the last sale ended yesterday. Let's have a look. Waiting for them to announce all the new updates coming. Don't think there's any sale right now by the looks of it. So if you missed that 80% sale, you might want to wait. You might want to wait for something new. Apparently, the updates are coming this month where you will be able to withdraw money after 10 days at any time. So it won't be set into the windows that they used to do, which is good, really good for traders. I haven't watched the interview with I think it was a COO or CEO, but apparently it's a very good interview. It gives some bit more insight, calming everyone down a little bit on why they had to make the changes. Sounds like they just grew far too quick, which is often a problem for these prop firms. So ES looking a bit weaker than NQ here. Good work, Stephen. So did you get long? Yesterday we were talking about that trend line liquidity and that they would look to dump it, take out all the short-term bulls, trap short-term shorts in, and then take it back up to the highs. We called it out in the Discord. Hopefully lots of people in there got it. It's looking pretty good here for a move up now. Looking to see if I can get involved in some of this. If they can turn the boosters on here, it would be really nice. Not yet, not quite ready. Yeah, you got that long yesterday, Stephen. Great work. Well, it was everything we talked about on stream, wasn't it? It was really, really good, actually. For those who weren't sure yesterday, I'll do a quick review of it now so you can understand what we were looking for. So I've still got that channel in. Yesterday, when I left stream, I said I wasn't willing to long in this because my fear was this was far too clean and then they would need to dump it and wash everyone out here. And really, I wanted to see a retest of the IB high to get long. And then look at the accuracy. Look at this dump into the IB high. That blue line is the lower time frame algorithm. They soaked off it, reclaimed, we went bullish, and then we drove up to new highs, right? Ran out, high of day. If you zoom out, new highs. So this was the buying opportunity here and here and here for the run up to new highs. It's exactly what we were talking about on stream. We literally spent 20-30 minutes going over it all the time that this was happening, what I expected to happen later in the day. Fortunately, I had a lot on my plate yesterday. So IB rotation again. It's getting ugly here, isn't it? It's getting pretty ugly here on the charts. Let's zoom out a little bit. Still looks bullish all the time. It's holding this for a potential rotation, but we are inside of initial balance and we are just tapping on that door of H1 supply. Keeps rejecting midnight. Yes, it keeps rejecting midnight, and the same area as midnight is right here. All right, this H1, all these blocks built in. Keeps rejecting that. If we get through that, easier move for this. Like we said, it's going to keep building liquidity. We are inside of the initial balance currently. Still like the longs. I still think there's potential for a move longs. All the time it keeps basing. The tricky thing is, VIX is now trying to move up and ES cannot really get going. Maybe it will have a crack here through VWAP, but yeah, price action's not been pretty. It has not been pretty this morning. It's not been pretty most of the week in the AM sessions. But what I've learned is if you start, I mean, this isn't talking about you necessarily. Oh, why has my camera gone funny? Let's see if we can sort that. Is that better? No, let me leave and come back and I'll sort itself out. Camera's struggling, it's struggling. I don't know, it'll sort itself out in a minute. What I was saying, what I've learned is to not move around tickers and markets. The market will level itself out and sort itself out. Right, let me grab another drink and hopefully camera sorts itself out by the time we get back. Maybe it's done it now. Has it done it now? There we go. Looks like it's done it. So still rejecting that IB high, trading between IB high and VWAP over and over and over and over again. ES definitely weaker here, but we are mid-range, right? On ES we are mid-range, so I'm waiting for the market to show its hand. I'll happily get long above if we start basing through that supply. I will happily get short if it shows me it wants to really dive down and give us a trend day down. Until then, I'm probably not going to take a trade. I did have a nice trade early on, way before open. So are we going to test this low down here, 56s, or are they going to soak this again and rotate back up? Yeah, that's fine, illegal immigrant. You should do exactly what you are comfortable with. I just like to stick to one market. VIX really starting to get going now. VIX now through 21. Market feels a little bit heavy here. ES diving right down now into 820. I'm not going to trade at mid-range here. I'm definitely not going to trade mid of this consolidation. Looking at a 5-minute and a 15-minute, it is just ugly. It's pinballing between a few levels. Maybe after the new hour, we get something a bit nicer. Yeah, Russell rejected its IB high, trading back into the midpoint. YM has broken its lows. Like I said, market looks like it wants to roll. But NQ, Tex, Amazon green, Google green, Nvidia green. ES does look the weaker of the two, but we are trading right in the mid-range right now. South Cat Dad, what's up? Just ugly, ugly action. Back to VWAP on the NQ. ES nowhere near it. Just trading in a range. Just really, really gross action here. Protecting that low we talked about. Very whippy. Lots of people trapped intraday here. Nothing to do, in my opinion, right now. If it stays like this, I'm probably going to call it a day early. If it stays like this, if it wants to break down or break out, that's great. But do we get new lows here? No real alignment across the markets right now. Can we get a bear flag breakdown here off VWAP? Would be nice, wouldn't it? If we can push a new low, maybe. But again, we're mid-range. It's very, very ugly. Yes, it's very ugly. Feel like it wants to snap here and just can't let go. And there's not much on the tape either. Yeah, lots of previous resistance, but lots of support as well, Scott. It's messy intraday. Very, very messy. Trading sort of midpoint between those two H1 blocks. I want to see it roll over and just snap, but I want to see ES do it, and I want to see VIX really get through 21 with conviction, not just dance around. And maybe I'll take a snap short here for that rotation down. But it's been soaking off this level since, well, for over an hour now, pretty much, other than one drive down. Sorry, I've left you on the wrong chart again. VIX just basing at that 21. New hourly candle right here. What do? Do they drop back down or do we expand back up? No edge on this hourly candle right now. Feels like they want to do something. Come on, just drop it. Do something. Yeah, it keeps holding. Yeah, it does. Keep soaking off this area. Like I said, it's protecting that strong low. This is the strong low here. You could argue now it's a new high that this is. So this right here is what it's protecting. VIX now still trading up, looking better here on the VIX. NQ has relative strength here though. ES looks like it wants to roll over. A snap of 820 maybe takes it down back towards low of day. Remember, you've got Fed talkers as well. New Fed speaker, I think it's Williams on the book right now. So if they break this now, if they're just going to mess around for longer. Very tight, isn't it? Don't know if you're in chat. One of you just emailed me that I just replied to. Amaridin, I think it is. If you're here, I just replied to you. Do they let go of this now? Are they finally going to do it? Again, your mid-range, it's ugly. This is ugly. Right, think about the range on this session. You're just mid-range. If we can complete this cup and get a handle here or here, this would be nice because this would be breaking down higher time frame demand for a move down into these levels. Big if, very big if right now. Again, protecting this low for now. Why this low? This low created the high. So if you ignore all the noise, this is the structure. This is internal, it wasn't a new high, that's a sweep. So this is the high. So we need to see a break of this for us to think about lower prices. That's the problem right now. This is what they're protecting. Mixed bag on the Mag 7 as well, like I said. All right, so Nvidia still green, holding up quite well, 1.2% up. Google just about green, and Amazon green. So you got Apple. Let's see what these guys are looking like. Apple almost 1% down, so 0.75% down. Apple and Microsoft, Meta almost 1% down. Tesla 1% down. What terrible action! I'm really sorry, team. This has been horrendous for a week trading together now with just no real conviction to get in trades. But this is the market. This is what happens. It's unfortunate. Yesterday was a really nice long day, actually. Lots of you got that long when I can get the fill, and in the afternoon it offered some longs. Today on a daily, we're just in a good area. If you think about this on a daily, right, we're holding above these breakout points, sort of here, here, for possible continuation into the Bollinger Band, which, like we talked about yesterday, will start printing upwards. Now we've got that move upwards. So it looks good, but that CPI print hasn't helped, and now we're just doing a dance between levels. I would love to take a trade. I don't care which way it is. I would love to get a trade at some point, but there is nothing to do. Thankfully, I got something last night. This is horrible. So our initial balance range is 115 points, and in reality, we've traded in a 60 to 70 point range since 10 o'clock. All right, so for an hour, we're just dancing backwards and forwards in this range right here. This range right here. This is where it's building liquidity. So it won't snap. They keep soaking this level. Right, this level here where we broke out from, they keep soaking this. They need to get through this and base above to open the gate for upward pressure. Again, just trap shorts in front of that low here. All right, let's just trap them again. So now they're getting squeezed back out. So do sellers come back in here and here, or or do we finally get that rotational move? What I don't like is look at all the flow zones. Everything's flat. This for me is like a real screamer to say don't trade this. Wait for it to open up. We like it when the flow zones are like this, when they're nice and wide and open up. When they're like they are currently, it's contracting price action. Flat Earth, missed the days when I placed limit orders all over the place without fear because I didn't know any better. I don't understand what you're saying there, Flat Earth. You just used to spam limit orders hoping to get filled, is that what you mean? Thankfully, well, it sounds like thankfully. I pronounce my THs. Lots of Londoners don't know. Thanks. That's not me. I hate that. It's pet hate. Or when they can't say specific and they say Pacific, that really pisses me off. All right, just dancing inside of range. All right, Vix just failed that drive up. Everything is a mess. We're just going to sit on hands here, guys. Don't want to click buttons. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit on my hands. So we're re-tapping into that H1 block, right here, re-tapping into it. Schedule, how do you say it? Schedule. Basil, that's a good one. Basil. Always found that weird. Yeah, all right, I get it, Flat Earth. I mean, you can do that if you know you're in a range, right? You can trade the edges like that if you know you're in a range, but it's tricky. Schedule. Okay, I see what you mean. Where's the K coming, though? Hard K, yeah. What, for a CH? It's amazing. So do you say change instead of change? Get to the copper. It is amazing how different the language sounds. Hodgepodge. All right, here we go. What are they doing now? They're gonna go? Are they gonna go with it finally? Back to IB high? They built enough now to do the move? Still not many sellers on the book. They get through this. There's one up at 450, 465, which is where we kind of expect it to go. ES looks like it's trying to build out a flag to do the move. School. How do you say it with a K? School? It's true though, we say school with a K, kind of. It is true. You got me there. I don't know what to say. Candy cane. You don't even say the word the in Yorkshire. Yeah, I know. Going to pub, to restaurant, to cafe. So just trading backwards and forwards in this range. Can something let go? So far, no base above. All right, you just need to be patient here. No base above. This is the range. Either that or that opens the gate. Here we go. Do they build the momentum here now? Can they build a squeeze out like this? Every single drive up is getting sold into. Kind of expect them to let go of it at some point for a stop run. But those refresh sellers into 720 keep coming into the book. There we go. Finally getting some movement, So joining this long, scalp some out straight away, stop break even. Finally. Let's see if it can base now above that IB high. Yeah, base above that IB high, I would kind of expect a rotation. I know we're in supply, but we've been here so long. I would expect a rotation back onto previous day close, the Newswick, and the previous day high. So if we can base above here now, we might finally, oh my God, can I draw it for the team? Might finally get that move. All right, here we go, beautiful. All right, so you're looking for a full rotation up into here. Newswick high is where most of these stops are. Took a long time, but we're finally getting it. Here we go. So really we want to see a base above the initial balance high, and what we would like to see is these flow zones start to build to support price action. Jesus, could that have taken any longer, any more chop to do this move? Insanity. You're long from 28.50, Scott. Yeah, lovely. So I'm looking at that on like a 5 or a 10 minute. You just got a really nice clean break of that flag, reclaim a VWAP. So just make sure if you're trading ES, take a partial into the IB high, respect the IB high. You have divergence against the two indexes here. ES not through that IB high. Once you get through that IB high and you base above, you should be clear skies into 41, 44, and 46 or 50. But just make sure you take the partial. So this is the test that matters. Can they hold this area? So ES did not get through its IB high. NQ did, and it's sitting on it right now. Good man, good work, Scott. Always good to lock some in, hold the runners, especially on days like this, where we don't know if it's built enough liquidity. It feels like it has, all right? It feels like it's finally done it. This is what we've been waiting for. All right, like I said, I was open to all moves. Here, this is the ranges. This H1 candle looking much better right now. So a test of 40 would be good, right? If top of this H1 bar, open closes a test into sort of 37.40, that'd be great. Base hits, yeah, exactly, base hits. Base hits are what pay, and every now and again we get that trend day that goes 300-400 points, and that will make your month, make your year sometimes. So can it build a flag here? I can zoom this in a little bit for you guys now. We need to see flow zones come and help this. All right, this is, where's the low? I want to see this level protected. I really don't want to see it dive that deep into the initial balance. That's going to be a problem. That means VWAP is going to get tapped on the ES if it does that. NQ came all the way down to its IB low, soaked off it. So other than the VIX did. So other than the NQ, everything else is trading inside of its IB right now. The ES is inside of IB, VIX is inside of IB. NQ is not. NQ so far has just popped outside of it, and we're looking to see if it can hold its initial balance. It will fail if ES feels the need to come back to VWAP, right? So I'm watching both of those closely. It will fail and dive back inside, probably towards the lower time frame algo. Tricky day. Sorry, team. Very tricky day. At least we got something, eh? At least we got something. Not great so far. So ES might want to come back towards, where's this? 28, and if it fails that, VWAP into 26.75. Still not a lot of action on the book. Not much on the book. Do they flag and go now? Can we get some momentum here? Apparently not. Apparently not. Come on, get going, market. Terrible. Giving it plenty of chances to go, taking those runners off. add in if I need to. Really wanted to see that go right then and there. VIX looking better here. If it can trade back towards the downside at that 20.80 would be nice. Yeah, exactly. VIX starting to drop. I want to see it let go of 20.80. Trade under 20.64 would be the best circumstance for VIX. Go and fill that gap, and then we can trade upside on these markets. Yes, looks like it needs to come back towards VWAP. Shouldn't need to, but keeps dithering around here. It really shouldn't be this hard for the NQ to get moving here, which is a little concerning, unless they're just needing to retrap over and over again. It really should just be accelerating to the upside here. Maybe due to Williams talking. I don't get why they have these Fed talkers all the time, because all they do is say the same things over and over again. To get paid money to say the same lines, kind of crazy. So these are the targets if this can hold and go. These are the targets we're looking for. It's just lagging. It's really struggling to get going. Like every little pop is 6 to 8 points, and they're selling every single pop-up is getting sold into. I mean, the shape of it's good. I wonder if they need to do one more drop down, scoops up some more shorts in there and then go. Oh, it's going to go now, maybe. After taking my runner off. What do you mean, Matt? Are you not in at long? We're looking at longs here. Yeah, you were long. Okay, so you locked some profit in. It's not going. Oh, it's not going quick enough. Yeah, I understand that. I did the same. Took it off. Yeah. ES now looking like it wants to start participating potentially. $2. It happens, mate. It happens. You know. Nice, Tyson. That'll do. That'll do very nicely. $4 grand. Check that M&Q long on 5C. What's 5C? On 5 contracts, sorry. Okay, Roger. Got ya. Okay, ES still can get through IB high. Now back to VWAP. What a mess. What a mess. VIX didn't even get to its IBL. And trading back towards 21 now, 20.92. There is a little volume imbalance there. I might want to come and fill. M&Q, okay. The danger is here that I'm looking at is this. This sort of channel for the day. I don't love that. Really just trading inside of this. We're boxed in. I would have really liked to have seen like really nice plays here. It's a little bit lackluster. The volume is very, very low. All right, just looking at an ATR, we're looking at like 7-point candles for the last hour and a half on average. Before then, we were looking at like, we're talking on 1 minute, we're looking upwards of 30-point candles. So I'd say the mean average before was 20. So it's really started to die off a little bit here. Here's the test of the IBL. Same time as ES is testing VWAP. So can flow zones and IB high support this, or do we end up being horrible? Definitely reasons for it to trade higher. We definitely have targets there in the CPI print, previous day close, previous day high. Question is, can it get there? That is literally the question. Can it get there? So far that hold's looking good. Need to see it break out here though. Come on, Inky, let's get going, let's get going. Better. Come on, NQ. Let's break this current high. Yes, better. Soaking off VWAP. We tapped into that volume imbalance on VIX I just talked about. Didn't quite fill it, but we tapped into it. Now NQ's looking much better. Remember that top of that range of that channel I drew out a minute ago. That's my only worry, is if they keep pop selling it. But hopefully we just break through it and start to clear out the liquidity towards the highs. This hourly candle's looking really good now. All right, so don't forget, check in on the high time frames. This is the level we're coming into. Top of this block. We get through this, we can start running up here. Today has required a lot of patience, a huge amount of patience. We just had a 4-week bill. I would be cautious, I'm going to say this, I would be cautious if NQ does some sweeps here and ES doesn't, right? If you get SMT at some point today, just be cautious of that. So that IB high held, really nice back test of it. All right, so this is what we're doing right now, so you'd expect something like this. At some point you might get a big move. The reason I say that is it might trigger a squeeze at some point. Wherever their max pain is. Maybe 450 might be the break, psychological level. Might be an option level. You don't want to be buying high, okay? You need to be buying dips off support. You don't want to be buying high in these. Especially just watching ES still can't go. What a pain. What a pain. I'm going to stay with you a little bit longer here. This might be one of those days where it should have held on to those runners off the rotation and just sort of walked away and let it do what it needs to do, because it might take a long time. I mean, even now, what if we actually moved 140 points odd so far today? So now VIX into that volume imbalance I was talking about. So might want to fill it up to 20.98. I'm going to be right back, team. Oh, there you go. Doing the move. All right, so trading back towards previous day close now. Are any of you still in this? Hopefully some of you are still in this. So we're at the 5 o'clock close right now. We get through this, we'll move to the 4 o'clock close, the cash close. Right now, we just tap the 5 o'clock close into 450. So we said that big psychological level. Can the ES get going? ES is soaking off VWAP, still not through the IB high yet. Right, so it seems like 30-ish to 35 seems like some form of resistance for it. That was the breakdown level. If you look left on ES prior to CPI, so it was the kind of level it was trading at. So there's that 450. They came in and sold 450 there, and that was the close yesterday for the 5 o'clock close, not the 4 o'clock close. So based on the daily bar. Yeah, same Matt. It happens, mate. It is what it is. It made it very, very tricky to hold on to trades today with the action. But that's its job, right? Its job is to make it hard for us. So just one of those things. Like I said, I probably needed to go even smaller size and just let it work for me. No big deal, Matt. No big deal. Take the rest of the day off, because if it's cut you up, you're probably tired from it and frustrated, which is totally normal to feel like that. Just take the day off. Do not take another trade today. Just relax. Come back tomorrow. Look to fight another day. Small red day is not a big deal. ES back to VWAP. VIX through 21. QQQ pretty much closed the gap. SPY has not closed the gap. Yeah, no worries, Matt. Those are the days. For me, I've done a video on this on YouTube, so you might want to check it out. There's a video, I think it's called like tilt triggers or something like that, psychology. Make sure when you journal at the end of the day, don't just journal your trades and your P&L, journal how you felt, and then you'll start to see your tilt triggers. So for me, a big tilt trigger is when I'm right numerous times and the trade won't go for me. So if I take break even, break even, break even, break even, small loss, small win, small loss, things like that, even if it's not the same day, if that stacks up over the week, the frustration will start to build in me big time, because it's more painful for us to take a break even or small win or even a small loss when the thesis was right and you get stopped out. That will start to trigger, at least for me, that majorly triggers me. And I'm very, very close, if that happens a lot of times, to starting to go on tilt. So it's really good just to walk away. If you're feeling some of those triggers starting, just walk away, come back the next day. Market is always going to be here. You don't need to make money every day. Market's going to be here. Today's been tricky, right? So we got it right. We got it right above the IB. We kept saying it would build liquidity here. Once we can get above here, then we can think about the longs. We got that right. This was your close on the daily. This is the cash close. This is CPI, and this is previous day high. These are the areas it wants to go to, but just like me, right, I was long here. I had another go here, out, thought about getting long here, trying it, couldn't get it to go. Now we just wait. Take day off. 15 minutes until you get a new hourly candle, and we go into lunch as well. So just be aware of that. What I would be cautious of here is a little bit like yesterday. They might want to do this at some point. Only difference is yesterday we were driving towards new highs, especially on the ES. In this session, we're really just trying to rotate back to close the gap. So if you look at the ETFs, QQQ is very close to closing that gap. SPY's got a little bit to go. Right, so I'm not sure it was showing here. I'd have to spin them around. How can I do that? Maybe like this. Right, this is QQQ. The red line is the cash gap close. White line cash gap close on the SPY. So that's what the market's attempting to do right now. It's attempting to reprice and close those gaps. It wants to be efficient. Yeah, Scott, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I've had the same thing today numerous times. It doesn't matter how long you've stared at the screens or how good you are as a trader. Some days you're not going to get, it's just not going to give you what you want, even though you know you're right. And then the worst thing you can do is, you know, it rallies those 20 points and you FOMO in, and then it dunks on you, and then you get really pissed off, and then you go on tilt and you start oversizing and try and make a red day green, and you make the red day more red, and then before you know it, you're crying in your eyes. You know, you're in your hands, head in hands, crying, sobbing to your wife. How are you going to quit? Never come back? And the next week you're back trading again, right? So just don't let yourself get to that point. Just don't let it happen. Use hard stops, stop out, have a rule, you know, walk away. Yeah, Stephen can come back this afternoon. I will not be coming back this afternoon. I won't be doing it. Even if it goes without me, I am pretty exhausted emotionally right now from stuff going on in my life. So I need to give myself regular breaks at the moment and just be a little bit kind to myself, not expect too much out of myself right now. So always think about what else you've got going on in your life. If you've got other stresses, whether it be financial, emotional, and anything like that, it will affect your trading. You might not see it, but it will affect you. It's good just to take rest. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Stephen. Good work today. I think you made a little bit of money. Good work. Illegal immigrant saying he's been doing a good job not going on tilt in trading, but he wish he could say the same in his personal life. Matt, the name of that video, let me have a look. I think it was like tilt triggers or something, but let me have a look. See if I can find it. It might be, oh God, it could be one of a few of these. There's 3 I've done on psychology on here, so it might be stop blowing up, managing emotions. So stop blowing up. It might be, I think it is that one. Let me have a look. Or it could be trading psychology, the hack. But I think it's stop blowing up your account. If anyone else knows in chat that we're in the team, post it, please. I think it's managing emotions. I think it's this one. Trading psychology, managing emotions. I think it's this one. I'm going to post it. If not, it would be in the playlist that this is in. me post this in chat if it will let me. So 10 minutes to a new hourly candle. We've got what we asked for though. Remember we said we'd want to see these flow zones start to open up. When they've started to open up above the initial balance, we're going to have the deeper time frame, deeper pullback flow zone here at the initial balance, and the lower time frame algo just underneath. So we have some potential support mechanisms. What you need to be careful of is this move back down towards these. So you don't want to be buying highs. Just catching up with chat. Yeah, I think that was those emotional states. That was everyone when they were a newbie, Matt. Still, a lot of people when they're not newbies. It's very, very easy to go on tilt. Very easy to go on tilt. It's easy to have good winning days, right? It's very easy to have good winning days. What it's hard to do is accept losers, and that's probably the biggest part that holds most traders back, is accepting losers. All right, so do you get the same thing here? A flag, you have the imbalance here. Can it support it for a rotation into these moves? I'm going to be honest with you, I'd feel much more confident about taking any of these if the ES was making new highs on day, not rejecting that initial balance high, which hasn't managed to get to, and trading between that and the VWAP. It's the one thing I really, really don't like. Same with the VIX. Trading back up at 21. So we have relative strength in the Qs, but we have pretty much filled the gap, right? Cash gap QQQ, pretty much filled. So if that's the objective, they don't need to take it any higher. SPY has a way to go to fill that cash gap. It's currently trading at 76.40s. It's got to trade all the way up to 77.15-ish. Off the bed, yeah, I forgot you're in Australia. Good work, Mitch. Have a great day tomorrow when you wake up. Cap786 says, I'm most likely to enter a bad trade short after a losing trade. A bad trade, shortly after a losing trade. Yes, very, very common. Very, very common. You take that trade, this is exactly what Foster Scott was saying. You take a trade, doesn't work out for you, and then you force the next one because you get pissed off. Very, very common, very easy to do. So you just set a rule for yourself where you have to wait another 5 minutes or something. Just create rules. And if you're like, well, 5 minutes is too long, I've missed a trade, who cares? You've got your whole life to take another trade, and that's the way you need to see things. You noticed on stream, I'm very, very patient when I'm taking my trades. I'm looking for the trades, they either set up or they don't. I'm not forcing into every single potential thing that happens. Like, I'm not forcing into, saying, we're looking for, you're going to let me draw it? Like, we're looking for a flag break here, and we're looking for this here, and we're looking for this here, and we're looking for this here. When we're in range, I'm waiting. I want these trades outside of range. Or I'm going to let this be a failed auction and trade downside afterwards. This just comes from experience in creating a system. The whole reason I created this flow zone system was to keep me safe. This is what has made me a winning trader, knowing that this is identifying trading range days. Above this is identifying positive action days. Below this is identifying negative trading days, like trades to the downside. Keeps me safe. So all the time we're above initial balance, I'm not looking for a short. Stops me guessing tops. So you can be sloppy if you're with the action. What do I mean by that? Even if you have a slightly late trade, but you know the initial balance wants to rotate upwards, it's probably going to be kinder to you. When you trade with the pro trend, when you're trading where higher time frame traders want to trade towards, you're probably going to have more success. So QQQ has now officially filled its gap, all right? It's completed its gap fill on the QQQ. On the futures market, we've completed it to the 5 o'clock print, but the 4 o'clock print is right here. 5 o'clock print is here, right? This is now just going without me, but this is what we were just saying, filled the imbalance, flag, upside potential. These are your targets. So if you're in this, partial here, hold the runners. You don't know, it might scream. You never know. ES tapping on its IB high. So it just wicked through it, came back down inside. So this is the highest print we've seen on the ES in the New York session today from the 9:30 open. It's just printed its highest print into 35. Got another 10 points to go to get to that CPI high on the ES. But yeah, this is hard to watch when we had the thesis right and it just wouldn't quite go for us. Hard to watch. Maybe just had stops a little too tight today after all the action, frustrating, but it actually looks pretty good now, doesn't it? Looks pretty good. Target 1, target 2, hold runners. And if you're a higher time frame trader today and you just bought, like we talked about in the Discord room before we got on, you must respect the higher time frame. Breakout, pullback, we expect continuation. If you just bought this level, like Malaysian SNR traders would, you are laughing right now. It's a very easy trade for them if you're just playing off the higher time frame. Yeah, Qs look great. Greg, Qs look great. Completing this giant move, right back to the CPI high. This is what it's aiming for, and then previous day high. If we do this, and we do this, we can have extension upside, but just remember you are trading up into supply all the way up into 540 based on the daily. So when we go to a daily, this wick here, this wick here, up to 540 or 544. That's what you're trading up to. Top Bollinger Band will take you to the top of this old gap, this grey box. Top Bollinger Band will take you to the top of it. 575, let's call it. Okay, yeah, just accelerating through now. Looking very, very good. So don't FOMO into this. If you got this with me and you managed to hold it, really well done. But even this is so slow. I mean, taken almost an hour to do 50 points, which for QQQ is kind of crap. But hey, it's the best move. So now you've taken that CPI, you're taking that CPI wick right now. I think you've actually taken it. This is a little bit high. Let's move this down. On my Ninja Trader, you've run through it. Oh, that's not ideal, is it? There we go. So Ninja Trader, you did actually run through that CPI wick. I had that print on CPI at 71. So they are different. Again, we've talked about that a few times on stream. Ninja Trader keeps printing different wicks to TradingView, which doesn't make sense. All the data comes from CME. Alex, am I posting the wrong area in Discord? Bar talk. Let me have a look. You can post that there, but also feel free to post that in the futures chat, Scott. Very nice trade. Really nice trade, Foster Scott. Great work. All right, through the highs now. All right, so through previous day high now. Everything now starting to play out. Oh, I left without you. Well, same as me. Well, I got a tiny piece of it. Probably should have re-entered here. Right, on this imbalance, I probably should have re-entered here. I think I was too busy talking. This gave good risk reward, this one. This is when they got stuck. All right, ES has not taken its highs. All right, so ES has room left to go if it wants to do it. SPY coming up to tap its close. Might try and catch the RTY. I haven't checked the RTY. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, Russell's got a long way to go, hasn't it? Wow. Long way to go on the Russell. So SPY trying to close its gap, all right? 77.15-ish, 77.20 will be the close of the gap on the SPY. For the cash gap, all right? So watch that cash gap video. Everything we talk about. Market loves to close the cash gaps. They're so important for the market to be efficient. So the question really now is, do we get SMT? What that would mean is NQ the only one to take out previous day high, and do we fail off this? Or do we have just a lagging market where the ES, for example, will continue to drive up and take out the same areas of liquidity as the NQ because it's lagging? Those are the two options right now. But NQ for now, the high probability trade on NQ has gone. All right, it's gone. We took it. We got little bits of it. Some of you probably got even more than me. We had a good crack. It wouldn't go for us. I got a little frustrated on it, more frustrated than I should have, because it wouldn't work in my favor, but so be it, so be it. I am only human. And definitely have a lot going on in my head right now, more than a normal trading week. I'm dealing with a lot of issues back home right now. So I'm trying to be kind and patient to myself. So I'm going to get rid of this now. We don't need it. That's the CPI level. So remember, there's not much structure here. This is a straight squeeze, so this can come right back down very quickly if it wants to. But again, ES is lagging. ES still has room for the upside, as does RTY. Exactly, wisdom lover, exactly. A lot more to trading than just being here. I would feel much more confident, like I keep saying, of a really big move on the NQ to upside if and when the VIX goes back into that gap, right? Which it's not doing yet. Even for this big squeeze up on the VIX, on the NQ, if you look where the VIX is, it's not printed new lows. It's still trading inside its initial balance, right? It's still trading and hovering around 21. We do have supply, like I said, all the way up to 20,540. All right, that would be a daily wick level. So it could still come and drive up to 20,540. So I might as well put that in for you around here. Triple check that. Yeah, 540. There or thereabouts. All right, so this, if it's going to extend, this is the next area for it to go to. This is where a daily liquidity level is from September the 26th. So if we're in a straight pump mode, this is the next stop. But remember, the easy action was from here to here and here. This was the high probability trade. This is not high probability. Best trade's gone. So this would be runners. But again, early morning, look at all this. You had to sit through this, but if you waited and if you had more patience than me, it offered really nice moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, upside. So ES having a crack now, it's having a go. Cash gap about to be closed right now. So SPY closing its cash gap. ES can drive up towards 41, through that 44 and through that 46. Those are the levels. There you go, legal immigrant. Made a little bit of money. Good for you. It all adds up. It all adds up. It's a really good lesson. Those in Discord today, we talked about how bad that CPI print was. We also talked about the importance of not letting that macro view change how you trade. You have to trade the chart in front of you. Really, really clear on that in Discord this morning. Lovely work, Greg. Yes, patience will pay. It's so, so key. I definitely lack patience right now, but I'm well aware of why. It's got nothing to do with trading, and that's fine. I'm going to give myself a break. I have members or a member of my family going through pretty severe cancer treatment right now. And as you would have noticed yesterday, I went very quiet on the stream as we were getting some of the results. So just being a little bit honest with you. So I have that not so much in the back of the mind, probably too much in the front of mind at the moment, which probably is affecting me emotionally. So I have to be very, very careful with how I trade right now. But hopefully things will start to stabilize and look a bit better. Thanks, Tomac. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Very kind of you. Appreciate it very much. So yes, very close now. SPY has closed its gap as far as I can see on the cash. Yeah, SPY has closed its gap. Yes, has a couple more points to go into that previous day level, into 41, and then 44, I think 44.25 is that CPI wick. At least that's what I have on TradingView. Right, like I said, for some reason, I don't know if everyone else is having the same thing. Penny, yes, I've read all of Dr. Joe Dispenza's books, well, most of them. So I'm actually qualified in meditation and breath work, so I've read a lot of his books, and my wife is a very good yoga and meditation teacher, so very, very aware of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Thanks, everybody. No, I'm all good. I'm fine to stay here and just being honest with you of why I'm probably choking a few trades at the moment, not letting them work. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for joining. Hopefully I know you've traded well because you're holding runners. Yeah, so everyone, if you don't know about Dispenza, Foster Scott, he basically recovered from a broken back by using advanced meditation. He thinks that you are able to change your body on a cellular level to deal with anything through tapping into advanced meditation. Oh, you know, all right. So that 20,500 will be that psychological level as well on the NQ. We do have some sellers there, but nothing huge. And the next level above that of a seller is all the way up at 550. All right, so there's not much on the book until you get to 550. Yeah, he does. He teaches meditation. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Divine Matrix, not read that. So here's the squeeze up into 500 now. Okay, so ES has now taken out previous day close. It's now going to hunt for that CPI wick and then previous day high. So everything now going, isn't it? Everything now working lovely. Just required more patience today. So even if you took that last breakout, you're up 50 points, right? This one here, really nice. Once momentum showed itself, once they trapped enough, this was tricky, but once momentum came in, it's becoming much easier. I wouldn't want to be longs up and around this area here. We're in daily supply now. Right, higher time frame. This is a daily wick. So we might come and test it and take the top of it. We're also coming into the top of the Bollinger Band like I talked about. Where would that top be? It can go through it, but in towards 75 or 80, top of the Bollinger Band. You trade SNT. So are you saying you're looking for SNT now where ES won't clear a level? Really nice move. Well, those who hung around for it got paid. You got paid. Yeah, please, Scott. We can always talk in Discord privately. So far, all dips holding, flow zones supporting momentum. But the easy, obvious levels for the NQ to search for have gone. All right, they've gone. We've taken them. The only one left is this red line up here. This is that daily wick I talked about from way back, September 26th. The easy move, as we always talk about, stick to the rules. Above IB high, we're looking for trend higher, and we searched for the liquidity. That was the easy, obvious move today. It required so much patience. You had to wait really until 1123 to 1125, those were your first real digs. This one here is nice, and this is nice, with flow zone supporting. If you go back and watch this stream, I said to you when we were here and I was looking for early longs, I wanted to see flow zone support action above it now, which is what we now have. So these are the high probability trends. These are the ones which will pay you day after day. This, unless you're very, very good, right, this is more likely to really, really chop you up, all right? This is likely to chop you up, cause frustration, and then by the time you get this trade, you're probably done for the day. So today's a really good lesson of just sticking to the rules, sticking to the system. It's why I teach this system. You're looking at the 1 hour fair value gap on, let me have a look. You're talking about NQ. So you're looking to trade up to 62, which you're already through. Or are you looking at a different market, Greg? Or were you talking about this morning where we dug down into the imbalance, which is what I was looking at for that wick to wick? Maybe that's what you're talking about. Were you looking at this? You're talking about this imbalance here? Because we filled the imbalances to the upside now. Gap on the Qs. Yeah, gap on the Qs, yeah. Just waiting to see if ES goes and takes out that previous day high and the CPI print. That's all I'm waiting for. Does everyone else have that CPI print on ES at 44? Anyone using Ninja, do you have it on a different price? Just interested. I guess I can just stop being lazy and look, and that's probably what I should do. $44, yeah. Thanks, Foster Scott. Enjoy the gym session. I'm going to do the same very shortly. I'm just going to wait to see if we take CPI data high and previous day high. And then I'll probably call it a day. It would be very unusual if ES comes all that way up and doesn't take it. 43, 25, it's missed it by 3/4, like 3 ticks. I don't think that will be the case. I think we take it. SPY has taken it though. Right, so the options market and the cash market has cleared it. Yes, we're showing nice rejection of the 50 on the hourly. Yeah, up to 46. Or are you talking about the SMA? I don't know. I think if we've got to remember, if ES clears 46, it's going to run 850 real quick, and it's going to be all-time high with lots of shorts trapped. That's what the market needs to do each day to get the moves. It has to trap lots and lots of shorts to move higher, because we're not going to get breakout buyers all the time. So all this move today, remember this was higher time frame demand here. Here's your 5-day trending up. Here's your high time frame algo. Shorts got trapped here, looking for that rotation underneath. But that rotation would have only been valid if we did this move, which we didn't. We soaked off here. So shorts trapped gives us juice to run higher. That's the game right now for higher time frame buyers in the market. Can they trap shorts, get them trapped, use their stops to move higher, because they don't want to keep buying high. Nice, gonna check it, I'm gonna check it. Ah, very nice. Is that hourly or is that a daily? I know the charts in hourly. I'm talking about the SMA or you're looking at. You look at pre-market data on the Qs and there's a 15-minute gap in it right now. I'm looking at a 10-minute. That's what I look at the Qs. There is a gap from 93.71 to 93. Then we trade above that. You got room for, oh, I'd have to go back a long way. I'm not really sure how far you're going back, Greg. Thanks, Wisdom Lover. Have a good day. What's weird is watching the VIX here just hover around 21 while we're trading upside. Really, really odd. I don't like that. The VIX is not making anywhere near new lows on the session while we're trading upside. So they're continuing to hedge in the VIX. That means they're continuing to buy the VIX or hold the VIX while the market's squeezing up. I will probably call this a day. It's probably a good idea to call it a day here. Stayed with you a little longer than normal. We got a piece of it. Should have got some more. We didn't, but we got a piece of it. I'd be keeping my eye on the ES, right? Can it take out that CPI high? Does it take out previous day high? Can we continue to extend on the Qs? This is your daily level on the Qs. This is where it might want to come and sweep liquidity on that wick that I keep talking about. Above this, then I would start thinking about Bollinger Bands on the daily. Where is the max level it can extend to for now? If we get an SMT, which would really surprise me, but it's starting to look more that way, if ES cannot sweep its CPI high, remember there isn't a whole lot of structure up here. Anyone who bought up here late, they might get washed back down to this level here, and then you've got these levels down here to aim at as well. So just think about this kind of trend up. If we start to roll over, you know what to look for. All right, as always, you are at the mercy of headline news. There are two wars still going on. You have presidential campaigns still going on. You have lots of world news all the time. You must use hard stops. You will be furious with yourself if you get caught in a big washout. So just use hard stops. Until tomorrow, please be safe. Thank you for all your kind messages today. Don't forget, if you want to do the course and learn more, links underneath. One-time fee, $399 with code YouTube, and you get access to my indicator and the Discord room. Until then, peace out, trade safe.